This occasion, Mr. Speaker, is not just important. It lies at the heart of our democracy and nationhood. It is in the spirit of accountability and democracy that I have, over the last 2 years, addressed the nation to explain what my administration has achieved in fulfillment of the constitutional requirements in Article 10, Article 132, and 240. Honorable members, fellow Kenyans, I want to affirm that our nation is strong, that the nationalist covenant negotiated by our founding fathers at independence is alive and well, and we have reimagined it, enhanced it, and expanded it. The spirit of the Lancaster Covenant that bound us together as a nation in the 1960s is still with us. And although we experienced turbulence in the 2007 post-election violence, we, as a people, reaffirmed our commitment to the Nationalist Covenant in August of 2010 when we proclaimed a new constitution. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speakers, I am humbled to pioneer the establishment of the Second Republic as envisioned by our second constitution. To establish the First Republic, our founding fathers sacrificed their years of youth, defended the ideals of the Nationalist Covenant with their very lives, and stayed the course until we were a free and independent nation. Every one of us owes a sacred duty to them and a responsibility to pass on a secure, united, and reimagined nation to future generations. Honorable members, as I stand here, there are brave Kenyans in uniform who echo the youthful valor and patriotism of our founding fathers. With skill and tireless determination, these young heroes are fighting a cruel enemy who is burning cities and countries across the globe. Our soldiers in Somalia, their police and intelligence counterparts at home, are all keeping their part of the bargain by defending the nation. They are protecting the Republic, but more fundamentally, they are securing the broader nationalist covenant. Their duties have at times demanded the ultimate price, and for this, we owe them gratitude and an eternal place in our hearts. As their Commander-in-Chief, I honor them, and I want to assure their families of our utmost consideration and respect for their service and sacrifice. And while on this, I want to assure this honorable House that my government has every intent to uphold the dignity of our soldiers, and as their Commander-in-Chief, I will not allow them to be subjected to undue harassment. Speakers, honorable members, I would now like to take a moment to salute our fallen heroes from the Defense Forces and the National Police Service, and I would like to ask the House to stand for a minute of silence in their honor. Bosire, sikuulizi usimame, na kuuliza usimame sio kwangu, ni kwa niaba ya askari yetu ambao wanakulinda hata wewe. Thank you very much. Fellow Kenyans, honorable members, today I invite you to a moment of national self-reflection. And at a personal level, I am compelled to return to the question of our nationhood as crafted by our founding fathers and reimagined by us in August of 2010. In discussing this question, I will expound on the Nationalist Covenant. This covenant was crafted as an exchange of promises and guarantees between the communities that make Kenya. It was built as a bond that waxes the 42 communities to one nation. It defined our lowest common denominator, our irreducible minimum, as a collection of communities. It was our unwritten contract, binding one to all and all to one. That is what convinced all of us to join hands and constitute Kenya. But as the country developed, we took this nationalist covenant for granted. We assumed it until we saw other nations losing it and falling asunder. We ignored it until we faced the dangers of losing it in 2007. Now, it is at the center of our national question, and we must tackle it head on. The question we must now pose is this: what is our individual and collective responsibility to this covenant? If it is the base upon which our nationhood is built, how must we engage with it? How do we protect it from ourselves and others? And how do we preserve it for our children and generations to come? The Nationalist Covenant is a bond that brings together 40 million Kenyans. It is greater than each one of us, but must respect every one of the 40 million of us. This covenant is sacred, and the 40 million who created it are sacred too. Administrations will come and go, but the covenant and the people remain. Leaders will come and go, but the covenant and the people shall remain. If we disagree as leaders, the covenant doesn't change. It remains unmoved and is the embodiment of all our collective aspirations, the representative of all of us. This unity of intent is the lowest common denominator as a people. It defines our nationhood and our diversity as Kenyans. To aggress it is to harm yourselves because it is part of you. Honorable members, those in opposition and alternative society have disagreed with our understanding of this nationalist covenant. And as a democratically elected government, we have supported their concerns as part of the expansion of citizen expression. In fact, I think from this, we have created an active and effective opposition and civil society, in fact, the most active on the continent of Africa. And we celebrate this diversity and Kenyan invention. However, our opposition should be reminded that they are the alternative side of the nationalist covenant, that they are part of it, and they are bound by it through normative law. It is in their undertakings, therefore, they must remain true to the ideal of the Commonwealth of all. This way, we as a nation can go through election cycles without worrying whether the gains of one administration will be destroyed rather than being assured that they will be built on by the incoming one. That is why today I invite opposition and the alternative society to liberally criticize my government's agenda. But they must not criticize it as a sport. They must criticize it as owners of the covenant and provide alternatives. Criticism without alternatives is just reckless political sport. Further, I also address myself to the beneficiaries of expanded fields of citizen expression, including civil society, the general population, and the media. They must enjoy the new liberties with consciousness, responsibility, and faithfulness to the covenant. I say this, honorable members, because newfound liberties have a way of promoting reckless abandon. As you enjoy the liberties, we must remain true to the spirit of our nationhood. We must criticize, we criticize if we must, but then give alternatives. Build bridges between divides instead of digging trenches. Build a culture of celebration instead of a culture of lamentation. In sum, those who enjoy our new liberties must not contaminate the spirit of our nationalism. Everything will come and go in Kenya, but the covenant that binds us is eternal. If we remain true to this lowest common denominator, this historical exchange of promises and guarantees, this unwritten contract that binds all to one and one to all, then the state of the nation will forever remain unchallenged. Speakers, honorable Kenyans, honorable members, and fellow Kenyans, I will now turn to a record of the pledges given by my government for the current reporting year and our achievements so far. Then I will attempt to tie them to our nationhood. And it must be noted that development is a secondary and supportive aspect of our nationhood. We are a nation on the path of progress, a nation on the move that is rapid and impressive enough to attract the attention of the world. We continue to dare to hope in the promise of prosperity for every Kenyan. We hold steady the reins of a bold and vibrant constitution that is intended to empower our people, strengthen our nationhood, and advance social transformation. Over the last 2 weeks, you have heard in great detail the achievements of my administration in the last 12 months. You have heard from my Deputy President, as well as Cabinet Secretaries, the lengths to which we have gone and will continue in order to transform this nation. I want today to give context to the work we have done, what it means to the Kenyan people, and where we are heading in the coming years. Our economy is resilient at a time of global economic and financial turmoil, that has seen some of the strongest performing economies in the world stumble into recession. I am glad that the macroeconomic foundation of Kenya are strong and sustainable. Our real GDP growth was 5.8% in 2015, and we expect to hit the 6% mark over the next 12 months. Inflation has remained under control, and our foreign exchange reserves have improved significantly. We all know that our dreams for decent jobs, more profitable businesses, and more taxes to pay for our health and education are dependent on a strong economy. We as Kenya have joined the realm of middle-income countries with a consequence that we can now access non-concessional credit from institutions such as the African Development Bank and the World Bank at significantly cheaper cost. We have also seen the continuing confidence of the financial markets in Kenya, and the world's most sophisticated financial institutions agree on the strength of our economic fundamentals, our management of the economy, and our future growth story. Speakers, honorable members, fellow Kenyans, my administration is investing not only in the immediate improvement of Kenyans' lives, but also in laying the future for the true prosperity we seek. That is why we have made such bold investments in security, transport and infrastructure, energy, ICT, mining and agriculture. Yet we all know that even while the national economy is growing strongly, it is still too small to fulfill our people's aspirations for themselves and their families. Only a true transformation will do this for us. However, transformations are not easy. They are full of ups and downs, and it is a very hard path. Every Kenyan knows this from their own life stories. How tough it is to save money for school or to start small businesses, how difficult it is sometimes to walk miles every morning to get to school and work. Yet with undying hope in a better tomorrow, the Kenyan people persist in working hard, in seeking to improve themselves and their families. My job as president, our job as government, your job as legislators is to walk with the people in that path of personal transformation by ensuring that the country is transforming with our people. As we transform one individual at a time, we will fulfill the nationalist promise. And in time, we will create a collective that is secure, prosperous, healthy, and well-educated, in line with the covenant of our founding fathers. This nationalist promise that I keep referring to was not just about inspiration to citizenship. It was also a determination to combat poverty, ignorance, and disease, and that we were going to enable our people to make an honest living. These are the reasons that have driven my administration to now make it easier to register a company. Through the overhaul of the Companies Act, we have cut to a minimum the old stringent rules that once made it difficult for sole business owners to register as limited companies. Further reforms, such as the passing of the Insolvency Act, have improved the processes that are required for one to be in business in the formal sector. They have sought not to fiddle with existing approaches, but instead to transform the business landscape. Evidence of our success is that the World Bank's Doing Business indicators show Kenya to be the third most improved country in the world. We as a country jumped almost an unprecedented 28 positions in their rankings. Nairobi, our capital city, was named the most attractive destination for foreign direct investment in Africa. And Kenya alone on the African continent was singled out as one of the 7 most promising emerging markets. And this achievement is also part of our nationalist promise. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, honorable members of Parliament, both of the Senate and the National Assembly, for taking time to review and pass the necessary pieces of legislation to enable many of these reforms to be implemented. I would also want to ask for your support in quickly passing other pieces of legislation to support this effort. Speakers, honorable members, fellow Kenyans, despite global economic and financial turmoil, our Kenyan economy has shown notable resilience. A strong example of this resilience is the performance of the vital tourism and hospitality sectors. They suffered severe setbacks as a result of terrorist attacks. This meant that their vital role in providing employment, depended on by thousands of families and businesses, was harmed. That is why my administration has laid great emphasis on the full recovery of the tourism industry, and we responded robustly. As part of the recovery strategy, my administration has set aside 1.2 billion shillings worth of incentives for charter flights which have resumed their previous frequency. Visa fees for children under 16 were waived with effect from February 1 of this year. We have also accelerated the construction of the Port Reitz Airport Road in Mombasa, as well as the planned Dongokundu bypass. Together, they will allow Kenyans, as well as our tourists, to get from the mainland to the south coast without using the ferry. Similarly, we have instituted extra marketing efforts and strengthened security measures, such as the lighting of our streets and providing extra support to our security services. And the result of all this has been a rise in the number and quality of our hotels. And as we speak, many of our hotels, especially in the coastal region, have been fully booked through to June. I want to take this opportunity to thank the investors in this sector who have shown their faith in Kenya, such as the entrepreneurs who committed to the construction of the English Point Marina in Mombasa and the new Best Western chain in the same city, and many others across the country. We cannot, however, forget that the major factor in this rebound is the resilience of our own Kenyans and their love for our country's outstanding beauty. They have continued, even during the difficult times, to travel and to book into our hotels. Honorable members, fellow Kenyans, if we don't believe in our own country, who will? I want to thank all Kenyans in a very special way for believing in their motherland and keeping our tourism sector going. Speakers, honorable members, fellow Kenyans, every single Kenyan knows what a road means to their lives. It is the opening up of numerous possibilities. The instant economic activity that follows their construction is clear to all. That is why my administration is making such a comprehensive and determined effort to open up the country. This is also part of the Nationalist Covenant, whose intention was to physically link all our communities to create the nation of Kenya. The logic here is that infrastructure creates nations, infrastructure creates jobs. I have emphasized the development of adequate infrastructure because our vision of growth depends on the ability to leverage our competitive workforce, our regional position, and the global economy to deliver shared and sustainable growth. More than 100 years since the colonial government laid the first rail of the Kenya-Uganda Railway, we are constructing today our own world-class standard gauge railway. As I stand here today, we will complete and operationalize the new railway between Mombasa and Nairobi by June of 2017. The construction of the SGR project has employed thousands directly and indirectly, with over 27,000 jobs created to date. It is the intention of my administration to extend the SGR to Naivasha and eventually to the port of Kisumu and to the border town of Malaba. This will open up more than half of the country to increase domestic and regional trade. Plans are also underway to modernize the existing meter gauge railway line across the country, covering Voi, Taveta, Thika, Nyanyuki, Eldoret, Bungoma, Kericho, Kitale, amongst others. Along these rails will be new industries and business ventures, further enabling us to create jobs for our young men and women. Honorable members, my immediate predecessor's administration laid great emphasis on road construction, and rightly so. My administration has built on the strong foundation he started. To this end, my priority has been threefold. First, to complete the roadworks commenced by President Mwai Kibaki's administration. Second, to open up major new national trunk routes. And third, to implement the ambitious road annuity program that will provide thousands of kilometers of low-volume tarmac roads to Kenyan rural communities. Honorable members, between 1963 and 2013, we built 11,000 kilometers of tarmac road. This translates roughly to 220 kilometers per year. In the last 3 years, my administration has tarmacked approximately 3,000 kilometers of road, or an average rate of 1,000 kilometers per year. By 2017, we will have laid almost as much tarmac as happened in the 50 years since our independence, as we also continue rehabilitating our existing roads. Honorable members, as I address you today, road contractors are on the ground working day and night to complete a number of projects. In Marsabit, for example, the road from Merida River to Moyale. In Taita Taveta County, the road from Watate to Taveta. In Kilifi County, the Mariakani, Kilifi, Kaloleni, Kilifi Road. In Migori County, the road from Kihancha to Suna to Masara. In Kajiado County, the road from Isenya to Ngong. In Nairobi County, the road from South Sea to Kikuyu Town. And as part of this comprehensive effort, we have undertaken as part of this comprehensive effort in infrastructure, we have undertaken massive rehabilitation and expansion of our main port in Mombasa. In 2013, Mombasa was the 8th busiest port in Africa, with a handling capacity of 890,000 20-foot containers. Indeed, in February this year, my government completed the expansion of 2 additional shipping berths at Kilindini, doubling our total handling capacity to 1.6 million 20-foot containers per year. Indeed, in 3 years, Mombasa has moved to becoming the fourth busiest port in Africa, down from 8th 3 years ago. To consolidate our position as the region's transport hub, we opened the newly completed Passenger Air Terminal 2, and in addition, we will be commissioning 2 new terminals, which will increase terminals, which is largely 1A and 1E, by May 2016, May of this year. And these new terminals will increase our passenger handling capacity by 5.1 million new passengers, bringing our total capacity at JKIA to 7.5 million passengers a year. To improve domestic travel, there are new airport facilities at various stages of completion in Homa Bay, in Isiolo, Manda in Lamu County, Malindi in Kilifi County, Lokichogio in Turkana County, and we are also working on Suneka in Kisii, which we hope to start soon, Kakamega, as well as Mandera, amongst many others. All this, honorable members, is meant to link the communities of Kenya into a nation as part of our nationalist promise. Mr. Speaker, efficient and adequate supplies of energy remain central to our nation's development agenda. My administration can report significant achievements here. In the last year, we have brought online 634 megawatts of new power, raising our total installed capacity to 2,282 megawatts. We appreciate that taking that power we generate into every Kenyan home is just as important as generating it. And that is why we have built more than 10,000 kilometers of high-capacity transmission as well as distribution lines, which now connect more parts of the country to the national grid than ever before. Some of them for the very first time since independence. Garissa is a case in point. It will receive the first ever electric power supply from the national grid next month. This shows my administration's commitment to the nationalist covenant and the inclusion of all. This has also enabled us to connect many more Kenyans to the national grid. In the last 12 months, we have connected an additional 1.2 million Kenyans to electricity in their homes and places of work. My government's street lighting initiative will have completed the installation of 26,000 new street lights across 5 counties by mid-2016. We have also extended this program to another 50 towns across the country. Why, you may ask, are we doing this? It is to improve security and make the 24-hour economy a reality. From Kibokoni to Mtwapa, from Majengo to Kibera, street lighting means better returns for Kenyans and better services for their customers. Indeed, as a result of this program, traders like Dominic Ombaka in Mathare, Aisha Abdallah, and Mabel Baraza in Kisii can keep their businesses open longer because of improved security. Asha and Mabel have moved from using kerosene to using electricity. This is the 24-hour economy in practice. It is part of the nationalist promise to practically, and I want to repeat, to practically prosper everyone. Fellow Kenyans, the state of devolution is a story of rapid implementation. It is profoundly welcome by the Kenyan people, and my administration's dedication to its success. Few countries anywhere in the world have undertaken such a fundamental transformation of their structures of government in such an incredibly short period of time. Kenya has achieved this, and I would like to thank and congratulate every single Kenyan for their outstanding and unwavering support for this process. I also want to thank Parliament, the Council of Governors, the county assemblies, the constitutional commissions for their commitment to the cause of devolution. In spite of disagreements and sometimes very strong opposing views, we have stayed the course. Today we celebrate the success of reaching this advanced phase of implementation. We can share in a moment of satisfaction, still knowing, however, that much more work remains to be done. My government has fully supported devolution in the belief that it promises a future of shared prosperity for all of us. We know it broadens opportunities across the country. We know that it ensures our journey forward will leave no Kenyan behind. My government's commitment to devolution means that every year of my administration, we have transferred at least double the constitutional minimum of 15% of shareable revenues to the counties. In absolute Kenya shilling terms, we are talking of transferring 1 trillion to 47 counties as of the financial year 2016-17, of which 168 billion has gone directly to arid and semi-arid counties. 6 billion as part of the Equalization Fund targeting previously under-resourced areas. 87 billion to the Constituency Development Fund. 13.4 billion to youth, women, and persons with disability as part of affirmative action. Honorable members, for me, this is the biggest demonstration of my administration's commitment to devolution. While applauding the successes with which devolution has been firmly established, taking ample resources to the grassroots, Kenyans must remember that these funds come from their hard-earned taxes. It is absolutely critical that every Kenyan demand accountability from those who manage these resources. We need, therefore, fellow Kenyans, to be frank. A significant proportion of the funds transferred to the devolved units have not met the expectations of the Kenyan people. You must ask, does the 1 trillion sent to county governments reflect in what you see? Is there clean drinking water and proper sanitation? No. Efficient garbage collection? No. Medicines in hospitals? No. And agricultural extension workers visiting your farms? No. Honorable members, fellow Kenyans, devolution was meant to be a mechanism that would ensure no areas were left behind. Instead, in some areas we see wastefulness, We see fleets of vehicles and palaces being acquired to benefit administrators and officials, and we have not seen enough of these hard-earned resources being utilized to provide concrete benefits to the people. It is important, honorable members, that we celebrate achievements, but that we face shortcomings squarely. Just as Kenyans demand from their national government accountability, I also today join the Kenyan people in demanding total accountability and better results from our county governments, for this is your money. My fellow Kenyans, while still on the subject of accountability, our nation has for a long time been involved in a protracted war against corruption. Previous administrations attempted to eliminate the vice, but with mixed results that did not meet Kenyans' justified expectations. Last year, I stood here and renewed our commitment to standing against corruption, an action that has led to a robust national debate, renewed scrutiny of public officers, and strengthened institutional tools against corruption. I did indeed pledge that the days of wanton corruption were numbered, and that those who chose the way of graft would be brought to book. Today, there are more than 360 corruption cases before the courts, most of them involving senior public officials. Indeed, I took the unprecedented step of dismissing a third of my cabinet, a very painful but necessary decision. Those in years gone by who might have used their positions as a shield against prosecution find themselves today called to account for their actions. Cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, governors, several chief executives of state corporations have been charged for offenses related to corruption. Fellow Kenyans, honorable members, my message is clear. There will be and shall be no sacred cows. To complement investigation and prosecution, we are investing in preventative measures as well as tracking, seizing, and confiscating the proceeds of corruption. Let me briefly explain our strengthened approach. We have put in place a multi-agency institutional framework bringing together all entities responsible for investigation and prosecution. In this financial year, we have set aside an additional 1.6 billion shillings to support this endeavor. The sharing of information between them is now more efficient, and operational aspects of investigations and prosecutions are now being completed without undue delay. The Chief Justice has created a specialized division of the High Court to handle corruption and economic crimes. The Director of Public Prosecution has in the last year trained and deployed 90 additional special prosecutors to try corruption cases. The Financial Reporting Center and the Asset Recovery Agency are now fully operational. Consequently, we have traced and are now preparing for seizure property and assets worth 1.6 billion shillings acquired using proceeds of corruption. We intend to create a fund to which the recovered funds will be deposited with a view to use such funds for specialist projects to uplift the vulnerable in our society. We have enhanced our cooperation with different jurisdictions through mutual legal assistance agreements. This means that hiding the proceeds of corruption will get more difficult. and here at home and abroad. We will seek to prosecute the corrupt, even if they seek refuge outside our borders. We have also worked with the private sector to develop tools and agreements that will ensure that it does not drive corruption in the public sector. These efforts are beginning to bear fruit. This is demonstrated by the recent quick tracing and seizure of some 400 million shillings of assets acquired through stolen National Youth Service funds. There has also been progress in Jersey in the United Kingdom, as well as progress on the Anglo-leasing cases. To reduce the temptation and opportunity for corruption and increase efficiency, my government has enhanced the automation of service delivery. Speakers, honorable members, fellow Kenyans, I understand the frustration of those who feel that investigative and court processes have been manipulated by the corrupt in order to escape accountability and delay and derail justice. It is crucial, therefore, that our judiciary reduces and eliminates the frivolous exploitation of legal technicalities to defeat the cause of justice. Kenyans are justified to demand from the judiciary a tightened regime that is impatient with unwarranted delay. The judiciary has the funding and the requisite leadership. It must therefore play its rightful role. It must not be perceived to be helpless, a bystander, or complacent in this war. That is a threat to our development and our security. They have cases before them. They should conclude them and tell Kenyans the verdict. Following the measures I took last year, I am encouraged by the overwhelming support Kenyans and indeed our friends abroad continue to give us in this fight. Everywhere I have gone, people have spoken clearly, demanding that corruption must be eliminated. And I believe that this war must and will eventually be won. I will today be tabling before this House the report showing cases of corruption that are already in court, and another report showing frozen assets acquired using corrupt means. Speakers, honorable members, my fellow Kenyans, our founding fathers fought for independence, to use our freedom and sovereignty to fight poverty, ignorance, and disease. And one of them is walking into the chamber right now. In fact, this was part of the original nationalist promise before we reimagined it under our Vision 2030. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I am of the firm belief that Kenya must make transformative investments in health and in education. The proper health care of every Kenyan remains a core priority of this administration. Towards this end, we have continued to invest heavily in health care. To date, the free maternity program has doubled the number of Kenyans who have access to affordable maternal health care from 600,000 in 2013 to 1.2 million in 2016. Mothers across the country have benefited greatly from this intervention. We are aware that there is still work to be done in this area, and I want to assure the nation that we will remain engaged in the pursuit of better maternal health care for all women across Kenya. All of us know the cost of treating major chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, kidney failure, just to mention a few. These diseases have bankrupted many a family. Many of us have had to endure requests for contributions toward medical costs. That is why my administration initiated the Managed Equipment Services Scheme, so that Kenyans can find the care that they need at prices that they can afford and in places accessible to them. Our people will no longer have to travel to Nairobi or abroad for that matter to find the specialist medical treatment that they need. The goal and object of this program is quite simple. We are equipping 2 hospitals, one level 4 and one level 5, in each county with state-of-the-art equipment. The intention is to have levels 4 and 5 hospitals in every county, and we want these by function, not by name. Our 4 national referral hospitals will also receive equipment so that they can diagnose and treat these illnesses. The project is run in close collaboration with our county governments. As an illustration of the impact of this project will have in 2013. In 2013, there were only 44 dialysis machines in our public health institutions. Indeed, most of which were in Kenyatta National Hospital and the Eldoret Referral Hospital. By December of this year, we will have a total of 289 dialysis machines spread across the country. Indeed, in 2013, there were only 58 ICU beds in our public hospitals, and again, those were largely in Kenyatta and Moi referral. By the end of this year, we will have 130 beds, ICU beds in our country, and again, spread across the country. In 2013, there were only 10 ultrasound machines in our public hospitals. By the end of this year, we will have over 100 ultrasound machines in our public hospitals. The availability of this equipment in county medical facilities has had great impact on the lives of people such as Japhet Muoki, who I happened to meet when I went to open the Machakos Hospital, who once had to live in Kibera near Kenyatta National Hospital to beat the long queues. Thanks to the Managed Equipment Scheme, he has now managed to go home to his home county of Machakos, and he has now regular and comfortable access to the equipment he needs for his dialysis. We know that there are many like him across the country. My promise to them is that, working together with our governors, we shall soon reach each and every single one of you, and you will receive treatment at prices that you can afford and in a hospital close to your home. Imekauka kidogo. As I speak to you, honorable members, Homa Bay Hospital, Nakuru General Hospital, Gucha Hospital, Kilifi Hospital, Machakos General, Moi Teaching and Referral in Uasin Gishu County have all received major equipment upgrades under the scheme, and the rollout is continuing countrywide, including such places as Engineer in Nyandarua, Voi, Makueni, Chuka, Kakamega, Isiolo, Mandera, amongst others. This expansive medical infrastructure and capacity is part of meeting our end of the bargain in the nationalist promise. Mr. Speaker, I now focus on measures my administration has taken to ensure our education sector is in tandem with our national social and economic development gains. Before I do that, however, let me show you the state of our people's quality of education in comparative terms. The World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report of 2014-15 has this to say: compared to 144 countries, the quality of our education system in Kenya is 30th and first in Africa. We are 32nd in the availability of research amongst those 144 countries and training services, and the first in Africa. We are 33rd in this report in capacity for innovation, and the first in Africa. These are just a partial reading of the comparative statistics. The conclusion is that Kenya is number one in Africa in multiple categories. It is testament to our high standards, reflecting our expectations as a people. We want to still do more. It is not enough to be number one in Africa. We must be able to become even better educated, more competitive, more driven, to have the ability to attract the world's cutting-edge industries and investments in our economy. My administration takes this as a priority. Also part of our nationalist covenant to eliminate ignorance. We cannot compromise the game so far, and that is why we have taken swift and stern action against those involved in the corrupting of our examination system. Mr. Speaker, I am convinced that technology and the ability to innovate it and use it to transform agriculture is the bright future of our young people. They must be empowered. We must equip them to be future ready. And in recognition of this, we undertook to provide digital devices to standard 1 pupils in every public primary school. It has taken time, but we are working and we're working on the infrastructure necessary to realize this goal. Today, approximately 20,000 primary schools in every corner of our country have been connected to electricity. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report here today that our promise to roll out the digital learning program will be fulfilled this year. The learning devices, I am glad to say, are in country and are being subjected to tests. Over 1 million Class 1 pupils will have access to digital learning devices and appropriate curricula, which has already been digitized for Standard 1 and Standard 2. Equally, 60,000 teachers have already been trained to support the digital learning experience. Our key indicators of our ICT master plan remain firmly on track. Indeed, in the last 3 years alone, we have seen huge leaps in our mobile phone penetration and subscribers. 2G mobile phone penetration increased from 75% in 2013 to 94.4% in December of 2015. There are only 116 sub-locations left in the country that are not covered by basic mobile voice services. This is down from 1,119 sub-locations that had no network in 2013. The total number of mobile subscribers has increased from 29.7 million in 2013 to 37.7 million in December of 2015. While internet penetration has doubled from 41.6% in 2013 to 22.6% in December of 2015, with the number of internet users increasing by an additional 21 million in the last 3 years to hit 35.5 million users in December of 2015. My administration has created an enabling policy environment for continued investment in ICT, which is evidenced by the growth of companies such as M-Copper, and the facts that I have shared today speak to how technology has enlarged and enhanced the democratic space for all Kenyans, and how it has helped us to leapfrog our peers by giving us access to knowledge and information at our fingertips, regardless of where we are in the country. It is a testament to how expansion in access to electricity is creating an enabling environment to harness the technologies, establishing a virtuous circle that enables Kenyans to take better control of their lives. More connectivity means that every Kenyan worldwide has worldwide information at their fingertips. We can learn more and faster and feed this knowledge into our lives and enterprise. We are a developing country that is steadily taking on the characteristics of a developed nation. As we speak, honorable members, my administration has already begun consulting stakeholders to gain their assent and support for the proposed changes to the current 844 system. To maintain the high standards that Kenyans deserve and to make certain that our qualifications are globally credible and acceptable, we are also working with them to restore the integrity of our exam system. We expect to announce the results of this engagement with stakeholders on the 844 system and to present to the country a new direction in the education of our youth that will produce all-rounded students with the skills and the values for the Kenya that we are building. Education has been the vital pipeline to opportunity in Kenya. We cannot afford to leave any child behind. Honorable members, in 2015, over 925,000 Kenyan children sat for KCPE. This year, when we did the Form 1 selection, only 759,000 received places in public and private secondary schools. The rest, coming to over 167,000 of our own young boys and girls, are sitting at home, idle and vulnerable to the lure of vices. It is my determination to reduce this gap to zero by next year. And to this end, I wish to engage with members of the National Assembly to ensure that by 2017, we together can build 3,000 new classrooms in secondary schools that are required to achieve a 100% transition. I also wish to work with members of the National Assembly to provide and to ensure that together we provide sufficient capitation for all our students. This, honorable members, is to attain the full promise of our national covenant that requires that no child be left uneducated. And I implore Parliament and especially the National Assembly to support us in this endeavor. Honorable members, the focus should now be making our youth employable, by equipping them with appropriate technical skills. Our labor market suffers a huge deficit of technical skills. This was brought to bear with the exploitation for oil by Tullow in Turkana. This brought home the reality when they had to import specialized welders from other countries because we did not have the requisite skills available here in Kenya. We also need to make our technical jobs attractive, and we therefore need more technicians, more chefs, more masons, more plumbers, more welders, more agriculture-related workers. To close this gap, my government has committed and completed 54 new technical training institutes and plans to construct an additional 76 such institutes. This represents a 100% increase in the number of institutes in this country since 2013. By September of 2016, we expect a student enrollment in these technical schools of 350,000 young men and women. We have also invested in the Kenya Medical Training Colleges. We have added an additional 33 more county campuses to reach a total of 54 across our nation. Students enrolled in these KMTCs have increased from 19,000 to a little over 25,000 in the last 3 years. This is in line with our aim to modernize the health sector, not just through brick and mortar and equipment, but also by building capacity of our young men and women. This is also part of the nationalist promise. Fellow Kenyans, we have vulnerable Kenyans that deserve a helping hand. We are not a rich country able to afford an extensive welfare system, but we are a kind-hearted people who want to help those most in need. My administration has undertaken to provide uplift to those who most sorely need it: the orphan children, the elderly, and persons with severe disability. In the last year, working together with some of our development partners, we have benefited over 717,000 households compared to just over 500,000 the previous 12 months. In budgetary allocation, we have transferred just over 18 billion shillings in cash transfers compared with 14 billion shillings in the previous 12 months. Today, indeed, Mama Jilo from Malindi, who is a senior Kenyan citizen, has received the helping hand of the Kenyan people through their government. The same goes for Amina Kazungu, who hails from Kilifi and who suffers from a disability. They do not need food aid anymore. Their dignity and their well-being has been uplifted. When I entered office, we also had less than 5 million Kenyans enrolled in the National Hospital Insurance Fund. My administration initiated a recruitment drive that today has increased enrollment to almost 7 million. This means that the cost of medical care have been reduced for millions of Kenyans as the package offered by NHIF has also been expanded. My appeal to you, honorable members, is that you join us in ensuring that we register many more Kenyans to ensure that the heavy burden of medical expense and costs that Kenyans bear is reduced through adequate insurance cover. Fellow Kenyans, these are concrete manifestations of our embracing the values of social justice and human dignity that is articulated in our Constitution. My administration is also working hard to ensure that every sector of our economy is uplifted. We know that agriculture is the mainstay of most of our people. It is from farming revenue that schools and health fees are paid. And to boost the earnings of our farmers, my administration has taken measures to address burdensome licensing fees and levies that remain a bottleneck, particularly in the sugarcane, tea, and coffee farming. As you will recall, not too long ago, I appointed a task force to address the challenges to the coffee subsector. In line with their preliminary recommendations, I have from today directed that all coffee licensing fees and levies be waived with immediate effect. I expect this to increase the revenues received by coffee farmers by 4%. I have also directed the Ministry of Agriculture, the Office of the Attorney General, and the National Treasury to review the other sectors, notably sugar and tea, to come up with a recommendation of the way forward in these sectors. We will extend these efforts also to regulatory fees in multiple sectors that continue to make it costly as well as time-consuming affair to undertake new projects or to expand existing ones. And to this end, I am also today directing that the prohibitive levies at the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, the National Construction Authority, as well as the Communication Authority, be reviewed with immediate effect. Ours, honorable members, must not be the business of making it difficult for Kenyans to do business. We must simplify and make it cheaper for our people to do business. In the same vein, I call upon our county governments to follow suit in undertaking a review of prohibitive licenses and levies under their purview. And I promise you, once done, you will all see the impact on job creation in this country. Fellow Kenyans, under my administration, Article 34 of the Constitution has truly been brought to life. Our media is the vanguard of our values as a nation, and they hold a special place in our social economic life. They form the essential bridge between the different strata of our society. They help to convey critical information. They help shape opinions and the psyche of our people. The media shines light on the misdeeds that must be laid bare to the public. It sings the songs of praise that galvanize our nation during times of victory. The media is also a broadsword that has grown even more potent with the evolution of new social media channels that bring on board the multiplier effect of citizen journalism. For that very reason, I will never tire to remind the Fourth Estate that with great power comes an even greater onus of responsibility. The responsibility to tell the truth, the responsibility to be fair and balanced in their criticism, as well as in their praise of those in the public arena. But most importantly, the responsibility and sacred duty to safeguard the unity of our nation. Fellow Kenyans, honorable members, these are difficult times. Our country faces various potential threats. The terrorists who seek to attack our people are already trying to anticipate your response, media's response to their evil acts. It is up to you to help us frustrate their aims. As journalists, as editors, as owners, you must always remember that the fate of millions of Kenyans hangs precariously on the tip of your ink pen. You can choose to use your platform to burn or to build your country. I urge you today to use it for the latter. And I invite you to work with my government to strengthen and to protect our democratic space. In the last year, we have made immense strides in the area of technology. The first phase of digital migration has been successfully concluded. And as a result, we now have 63 licensed TV stations as of December 2015, compared to only 14 that we found in 2013. Indeed, I would be justified to say that despite the vehement resistance by a section of the media to the digital migration process, it is clear that their fears were unfounded. A recent study indicates that there has been an 11.5% increase in the proportion of daily television viewers. We have seen a proliferation of exciting local talent and content on our numerous now TV channels. From hilarious comedies like Anti-Boss to the educational entertainment offered by Shamba Shape Up Show, I take this opportunity to salute our local producers like Dorothy Osibori Ketuba of Spielworks Limited, Alison Gubwine of Allison Production, who have seized the opportunities brought about by digital migration to create new jobs for hundreds of young actors, casting crew, videographers, and editors. That, honorable members, is what we always envisioned. Speakers, honorable members, and fellow Kenyans, the government's most critical duty is to protect the lives and property of its citizens, as well as the sovereignty of our republic. This task is today made more complex by violent extremism, geopolitical rivalries, and organized crime such as cybercrime, and human and drug trafficking. I will be tabling before the House the report of the National Security Council on the state of our national security, where I outline specific measures that have been undertaken by my government to secure the people of Kenya. Allow me now, honorable speakers, to focus on a few important issues that touch on the security of our nation. We have implemented specific strategies that deal with our security challenges and have made a number of cross-cutting multi-sectorial interventions. These include review of security-related legislation, rollout of a collaborative approach to counter-terrorism, and an integrated command and control center. We have undertaken national police service reforms, reforms to the national administration, reforms in immigration services, reforms in correctional services, peace building and conflict management, as well as citizen participation in security through our Nyumba Kumi initiative. Our reforms include the integrated population registration system, operationalization of the Asset Recovery Agency, integrated border management programs, interagency collaboration in investigation and prosecution, multi-agency team on eradication of corruption, as well as regional and international initiatives. Specifically, speakers, we have increased the number of police officers 10,000 in the last 12 months, with an additional 10,000 set for recruitment next week. We have also increased the number of patrol vehicles on our streets through the managed lease service framework, and we can all testify on a much stronger police presence across the country. Modernizing our security apparatus has been a cornerstone of our agenda, and we have invested billions of shillings over the last year in specialized armored transport equipment, weapons, communication, airborne capabilities, as well as personal body armor for our officers. The newly launched National Police Service Communication and Surveillance Command Center is a noteworthy illustration in this regard. This facility is the nucleus of our strategy to leverage the benefits of technology to improve both the efficiency and effectiveness of our security services. Fellow Kenyans, we cannot run away from the fact that we face a threat of terrorism driven by a globalized ideology that is fanatically opposed to the idea of a multicultural and peaceful society. It seeks to destroy our sovereignty, our democracy, and to annihilate our liberties. This threat is not national, it is global in nature. We have seen it across the world, most recently in Pakistan, in Belgium, in France, in Nigeria, Ivory Coast, in Mali and Turkey, just to mention a few. One of this country's greatest strengths is our religious and cultural diversity. And I am proud that our people refuse to be divided by the reckless actions of these criminals. Today, honorable members, I want to pay particular special tribute to a Kenyan of Muslim faith. He was shot and killed by terrorists near Mandera for the simple fact of shielding Christians from attack. He died defending people who he didn't even know. This is because he believed in their right to freedom of worship, and he knew that every single life, irrespective of faith, is sacred. He is a powerful symbol of our country's ambition to attain the full expression of a secure, cohesive nationhood, and he is a costly reminder that we all have a role to play in protecting our freedoms. I felt especially proud this afternoon speaking with his brother and his wife when they mentioned to me that not only are they proud of their husband and brother, but they too are ready to commit their lives to protect our way of life. Salah exemplified the best of who we are as a country, a diverse people, united by our common love for liberty and peace, and above all, being our brother's keeper. His actions epitomize the nationalist covenant we so desire to live by. I today acknowledge Saleh's family, and I want to tell his children that their father's sacrifice will never be forgotten and will be long admired. In recognition of his remarkable act of valor, and indeed on behalf of the people of Kenya, I hereby posthumously award Sala Farah the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya. Speakers, honorable members and fellow Kenyans, when my administration assumed office, we promised to provide an answer to the perennial land question. We pledged to address the structural challenges that affect our land tenure system. This we did because we knew how important land is as a productive resource to the realization of our development agenda. Land is the basis of all other economic activities, and therefore the sanctity of title deeds should never, ever be in doubt. I am happy to report that in the last 1 year, we have issued an additional 1 million new title deeds, bringing the total number of newly issued title deeds to 2,405,000 since 2013, and we are on track to surpass our target of 3 million new title deeds by 2017. From Peketoni in Lamu, to Aitiki in Mombasa, to Kihiumwere in Murang'a, to the Nyeri colonial villages, from settlement schemes in Taita Taveta to those in Trans Nzoia, in every region of the Republic, substantive solutions to old land disputes have been realized. The progress is there to see for those who choose to do so. We know still that much remains to be done, but we and I are confident that we shall complete this complex task and remain true to our promise. I take this opportunity to commend the National Land Commission for collaborating with the Ministry of Lands. We have been able to undertake through audits of the 13 major land registries to facilitate their digitization and to introduce cashless digital payment systems for various land-related services. In addition, this collaboration has given birth to a one-of-a-kind digital titling center that enables advanced security and transparency features. It has also led to the national geospatial infrastructure that will come into operation at the end of this year, setting the stage for further development in geographical information systems that will improve service delivery and development initiatives. Honorable members, we have taken steps to improve access to government services, creating Hotuba centers that offer Kenyans a wide range of vital public services under one roof. The Hotuba centers are offering, as I have said, a wide range of different government services, and today we are serving approximately 35,000 Kenyans per day. Each of these centers is a visible manifestation of our desire to improve the citizens' experience of government and to show the Kenyan people that serving them quickly and comprehensively is both our priority and our pleasure. Speakers, honorable members, fellow Kenyans, Kenya's international standing continues to improve. We have cemented our role as the champion for regional integration and security. Peace building, ceasefire and national reconciliation processes in the region are often informed by efforts supported and facilitated by Kenya. Most recently, we have witnessed the product of our persistence and faith in the peace and reconciliation underway in our neighboring South Sudan. Our soldiers are skilled and brave peacekeepers in multiple theaters, particularly in Somalia, DRC, and South Sudan, just to mention a few. Our own medical staff volunteered to go to West Africa to fight Ebola, a testament of their skill and bravery, and our nation's leading place in making the world a better place. Kenya matters on the world stage, honorable members. Our diplomats, and I particularly single out Ambassador Kamau, led in the negotiations that led to the Sustainable Development Goals. We were a crucial player in advancing a world trade round that had stalled when we hosted the WTO Ministerial Conference in Nairobi, the first time it has ever been hosted in Africa. We are an important player in multilateral negotiations on trade, environment, sustainable development, and a host of other global challenges. In the past year, we have also hosted major international events, including the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. I am happy to report to Kenyans that that trend will continue this year when we host the first Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD, the first ever to be held outside Japan. Also later this year, we will also host the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, which will be holding its 14th session here in Nairobi. In 2015, one renowned world leader after another visited Kenya. To name but a few, His Holiness Pope Francis made a very successful 3-day visit, choosing Kenya as the first destination on his first African journey. Earlier in the year, President Barack Obama and I hosted the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Nairobi, and the Italian Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Matteo Renzi, made a state visit, and we are welcoming more this year. Honorable members, fellow Kenyans, these visits and conferences are clear proof of the trust you have placed in the leadership of this country. Kenyans are seizing this moment to create economic opportunities and to expand our influence globally. Our international standing, honorable members, is high. Speakers, honorable members, my fellow Kenyans, all these efforts are part of my generation's contribution to the Nationalist Covenant. Just as we have inherited and reimagined the efforts of our founding fathers, so shall future generations inherit the fruit of our labor. Thus far, we have kept our part of the bargain in the sacred labor to build a great nation. Earlier in my address, I singled out the heroism of Sala Farah and our men and women on the front line. In our way, let each one of us make a sacrifice to make Kenya great. Let us, honorable members, embrace tolerance. Let us celebrate each other. Let us avoid utterances and actions that set one Kenyan against another Kenyan. Honorable members, Kenya is big enough for all of us. It is indeed so. This must be our solemn contract with our nation and with one another. It must be part of our nationalist covenant, and we must take this trajectory. And if we take this trajectory, we will avoid the pitfall of passing on national challenges to our children. We will enjoy the pleasure of sharing with them the dividends of our covenant in both material and spiritual form. Speakers, it is now my pleasure to submit to Parliament the annual report on the state of national security, the report on measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of the national values, and to the National Assembly, the report on progress made in fulfilling our international obligations. God bless Kenya. God bless us all. Asante sana.